to Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Mayor. This is our first show of 2017, and it's also the first show in our new home with our new format. That is, we're going to be at the City Chambers, Council Chambers here at City Hall. From now on, the second Friday of the month at 8:30. It's a free event. It's open to the public. And instead of rotating out the council members, we're going to do the mayor all the time. Every month he'll be with us, hopefully. Did that sound bad? That's okay. Anyway, we're going to start, as we always do, with our sponsor. And once again, the HCA family has stepped up to sponsor this show for the entire year. That includes St. Lucie Medical Center, Longwood Regional Medical Center, and Heart Institute. And very good. And proud to have them as great partners, and what they do for us is they bring in different guests from the services that they offer, and we learn so much about what we have here in the community right at our fingertips, and sometimes we don't know. So today we have with us Erin Mercada, and she is the director of the birthing center for St. Lucie Medical, or
St. Lucie Medical Center, yes.
Very good. Welcome, Erin.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Now, where is the birthing center, and what all does that entail? Obviously birthing.
Yes. The birthing center is actually located at St. Lucie Medical Center. We're up on the 5th floor. We're actually the entire 5th floor, and it encompasses a 17-bedded department. We have labor and delivery, we have a mother-baby unit, and we also have a level 1 nursery.
A level 1, and what does level 1 nursery mean?
Level 1 nurseries take care of well babies, and that means we keep babies that are 35 weeks or greater. So anything preterm or that delivered earlier than that would probably go to our sister facility.
Very good. And I was reading up, as I sometimes do, before the guest comes on, and then you have some special distinctions.
We do. We're actually very proud. This year we were recognized by the March of Dimes. We got banner designation for our work in eliminating early elective deliveries. And what that means is that we no longer deliver babies prior to 39 weeks electively. Sometimes mom gets tired of being pregnant towards the end. We used to deliver babies a little earlier. Now research has shown that it's really not safe to deliver babies any earlier than 39.
That was an option. Did you all know that? You could just like tap out like I'm done? That seems odd.
It's a condition sometimes. It's called TOBP. It's that tired of being pregnant you get towards the end.
Everything is a recognized illness, isn't it?
So we no longer recognize that as a true thing, and the OB community across the nation and the world really has done a lot of work in partnership with March of Dimes to eliminate these early deliveries, and it's helped a lot with NICU admissions for things that we used to admit babies to the NICU for that we no longer need to. So we've reduced ours to actually we've been at 0 for multiple quarters in the past year. So it's really a huge feat for us and something we're very proud of because it's not easy to do sometimes. We are also a Blue Center of Distinction for Blue Cross Blue Shield for their maternity centers. And that's something that's awarded based on your quality measures and also your patient satisfaction and your outcomes. So that was something we received as well that is, definitely a testament to the care that we provide, and we're very proud of that too.
Very good. And what do you think is the best asset for your birthing center?
I think something that makes us stand out is we really have a very well-versed staff. They've been doing it a long time. They love what they do. And it shows in our patient experience when we talk to our patients about the care that they've been given. They really talk about that interaction with the nursing staff. We offer something that we were the first in the Treasure Coast to actually put forth, and it's called a gentle C-section. It's something that's kind of taking shape a little bit in the hospitals in the nation. And
this isn't the first time we've heard about gentle surgeries and gentle, and I was like, well, aren't they all supposed to be a little bit gentle? Well, as opposed to really rough. See,
and gentle C-sections actually came about because not all moms plan on having C-sections. Sometimes it's something that happened in labor, or the baby may be breech. And it wasn't in their birth plan, really. And, and you lose connection a little bit with what's going on because you're having a surgery. So there's only so much that you really can be a part of. There's usually a drape that divides mom from baby. And with a gentle C-section, we actually use a clear drape. So at the part of the delivery, the mom can watch the baby being born. It gives a little more connection to what's going on. And then as long as baby's doing well, baby can go skin to skin with mom right away, which in the past, baby had gone over with the nursery nurse and
Right.
the neonatal provider that's
Kind of
there.
rushed out.
Yeah, and we've really moved away from that because we want to make it more of a birth experience and a delivery for moms so they can still have that connection and not feel so disconnected during the delivery. And that's something that I think makes us stand out too. We're really about the experience of the patient, the experience of the mom, and not only the mom, but that family, and really providing that family-centered maternity care at St. Lucie.
Very nice. Well, I hear that you are new here. Where did you come from?
I am. I relocated back to the area. I was down in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And we relocated because my family's up here. So we're
Native
very
Floridian
yes,
then.
yes,
Very good.
absolutely. So we're very happy to be back.
Oh, so you're returning home.
I'm returning home. Yes.
That's a success story for us. That's
Yes,
what we want.
returning
Very
home.
good. Good. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And of course, you can find out more information at the website for St. Lucie Medical. And I'm sure Rhonda's going to yell it out to me, or Landy. It's St. Lucie Medical Center's website? stluciemed.com. Okay, very good. Thank you so much. And we'll be right back with, of course, the Mayor of Port St. Lucie, the Honorable Greg Orvek. Welcome back to Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Mayor. I'm Teresa Aronson, President and CEO of the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. It is our honor, our pleasure to facilitate this event. Every month we have moved it. This is our January Coffee with the PSL Mayor, and we are in council chambers here at City Hall. And it's on the second Friday of the month now, and that will continue on through all of 2017. And I am going to, of course, visit every month now with, hopefully, schedule permitting, just the Mayor of Port St. Lucie. I think he's got a lot to talk to us about, and I'm really excited about this new format. And we're going to be working with the council people in another area. So please give a warm welcome to PSL Council or Mayor, the Honorable Gregory Orvek. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for agreeing to join us every month. We do appreciate that. So.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Good.
Happy New Year. Happy Friday
New Year.
the 13th.
Oh, it is Friday. I have to
That's
fly.
why, and it's I think a full moon. That's why you're going so crazy out
that
there.
what it
Yeah,
is?
you're going wild.
You know, I have to fly today.
Oh boy,
I know. I don't think I wish you wouldn't have told me.
might want to burn some sage.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, we digress. We have gotten you to agree to do this every month because we feel like you give us a lot of great information, and you're always willing to take any question whatsoever from the audience. And I think that's an important part of this particular program. And of course, we're going to alternate at our area council meeting with the other council members. So we just did State of the City address the other day.
Twice this week. Once here in the
did?
chambers and once at the EDC. So thank you to the
that's right.
community for coming out and being so supportive. And we have a lot to be excited about in 2017.
We do. I happen to catch both of those,
Yes,
of course.
you did.
And then, but the EDC one was kind of a shortened version.
Yes.
And some of the things.
Jane liked it better that way.
She
Yeah.
always does. She always does. I actually like brevity as well. She knows
Sure.
that. And I actually took hits for being too brief at EDC the other day. They were like, I was setting the tone. So, but anyway, tell us what you want to talk to us about. You always bring props.
I try.
Yes, we
Let's start
enjoy
with
them.
a story because Nurse Erin from St. Lucie Medical Center did such a good job with the, tired of being pregnant? DOBP?
It's like it's a recognized disability. Here's the thing, though. Do you want to have that conversation with your child when they're like 18? Like I was over it. So
Well, I think-
you were.
For the females who may become pregnant, they might be able to relate, slightly relatable
I think
story.
that every mother probably can relate. I don't think anybody thinks that last 2 months is like heaven, do they? No, it's awful, right? I don't know. I never gave birth, but I can only imagine.
Oh, boy.
Your ankles are swollen. There's a baby on your bladder. Yeah.
Well, speaking of babies, I have 3 biological children, and I have Alex, Christian, and Caitlin. All their birthdays are in January, and today is Christian's birthday. He turns 15.
Oh,
And,
very nice.
yes, thank you.
Happy birthday to Christian.
Yeah, happy birthday, Christian. Love you, buddy. So the boys, right now, Alex, my firstborn, he's 15 too. So they're all in January. They're
Well, you
less
were
than a
just
year apart. They're
stacking
Irish
them
twins.
up, huh?
This is a city show, so I can't use the jokes I would if this were martinis with the mayor. But
We should try that, though.
The boys we should try martinis with the mayor. In fact, on Facebook, we had some posts saying, what about for those of us who work and can't get out of work, let's do it in the evening. So maybe we can find an evening sponsor within the city where we really could have.
With drinks and Uber? Maybe Uber should be our sponsor.
Well, this might come as a shock to Trissa, but you can have just one. I mean, you can just drink one. Sweet revenge.
Just one.
But anyways, the boys were both born in South Miami Hospital. That's kind of on the edge of when we relocated up here, and Tanya's in labor. We're going in, and I'm pushing Alex in a baby stroller. And I'm the first one to the nurse's desk, and I say to the nurse, I want to bring this one back. And she really thought I was serious because he was a baby still, and she didn't pick up that was my wife in labor with our next child. And so that's how close they were. They were so close that she took me seriously when I said I wanted to bring a child back.
Can I exchange this one out for
I'm
the
sure
other?
that would never happen in the birthing center on the 5th floor of St. Lucie Medical Center. But because I spoke so much this week, I'll be happy to open it up and start with any questions the audience may have here in 2017. Any questions out there?
Oh, very good. We have a question right over here. We have with us Cheyenne, and she is the secretary for the council at the Pace Center for Girls. And I think we might be hearing more from her later, and we're excited about that. But she wanted to ask the mayor what it was that inspired him to become a leader.
Great question. So for me, as I aged, I've always kind of been pensive. I've always reflected on life. So for me, life is so short. It's not about you. It's about what you leave behind. And in my thinking, what we leave behind is our family and our community. And so because our life is so short, we have to have a sense of urgency. We have to be driven to give back and try to leave the world a better place than we found it. That's kind of our job. That's because that's the only thing that matters over time is, are we moving in the right direction as a people and as a civilization? And so because I believe in that, I feel like it's my life's purpose to give to others. So that's both why I chose to serve and continue. I believe it's a calling. It's not just a job. It's something that you do 24/7. And that's what brought me there. Thank you for the question.
You know what, I think leadership is found in our community in just a myriad of different ways, not just in the political realm or civil service, but I have a guess that Cheyenne's probably on that track to leadership somewhere as well, if she's already taken on a leadership role at the Pace Center. So good for her. Thank you for the question, Cheyenne. Anybody else have a question for the mayor?
Oh boy, you never know what this could be. This could be like sweet revenge.
Yes. Jane Rowley has a question.
You're always good. Just so, everyone should always know that I love Jane. Thank you for your question about Crosstown, Jane. And we have, if you read the newspaper, you've seen some headlines. Crosstown Parkway. I think it was in the comp plan in 1980 for the first time. So people say, how could you say it's been 40 years in the making? Well, we're 2017 now. We're close to 2020, and that'll be 40 years in the making. But we are very close, and now we're at a point where we can start construction on the approaches, Jane and Port St. Lucie, and there have been challenges along the whole way. So to get to this route, has anyone heard of the route? Are you familiar with that term, the route, and some of the angst over that? Because we were crossing the river, we had to go through the federal EIS process, also known as NEPA. I'm sorry you're getting acronyms there.
Environmental?
Yes. Environmental Impact Statement is EIS, and National Environmental Protection Act, I believe, is NEPA. There's a 33% chance that P could be policy, but you get the idea. We had to go through an 11-year, $5 million process that was the process by which the route was selected. We just can't willy-nilly say, you know what, I don't like that route, we're going to put it over here. That process dictated the route. A group, the Conservation Alliance has, and I believe the Riverkeeper, they have challenged the route through that NEPA process. We won the case, and it's actually, they appealed. It's being heard starting, it was yesterday was the hearing date for that. But because we won the first case, you can move forward. And technically they were suing the federal government, not us on that, because it was really a federal process. Now we have to get a whole kind of list of permits: South Florida Water Management District, Army Corps of Engineers, DEP easement. DEP is the Department of Environmental Protection in Florida. And then lastly, the U.S. Coast Guard. So those are that's the list of permits that we have to get. Last February, all right, so basically a year ago, South Florida said, hey, PSL, we're ready to issue a permit. And Diane Goldberg and the Audubon Society challenged that. So we had to go through that fight, which we won, and the permit was issued, I believe, on December 23rd. So that's the news. And if you're on our newsletter list or you're reading the paper, when you see that we finally got the permit, that's the permit we got. And that gives us the right to go right up to the edge of the uplands of the aquatic preserve. So we can get going. And in fact, right now, everybody, we're doing the utility relocations and the gopher tortoise relocations. And next is the DEP conservation easement. We'll be into the Army Corps of Engineers. And then last but not least is the U.S. Coast Guard. And fortunately with the U.S. Coast Guard, they're really looking to make sure that you maintain navigable waterways. That's their job. So we are there. Now, should we expect continuing challenges? Yes. And in fact, even though this is kind of a hard edge to talk about, we should expect that people, the very small group of people who are fighting this project, that they'll get increasingly noisy and maybe even, for lack of a better term, desperate as we're on the cusp of moving forward. And in fact, staff is planning the groundbreaking for March, because we're ready to go wide open, and the contractor's already on board. And just as another reminder, remember that it's almost been 12 years ago that 89% of the voters in Port St. Lucie said, you know what, this project is so important to us, we're going to tax ourselves. And you know what it's like to get the voters
do not
to tax
do that
themselves.
lightly.
They do not do it lightly. That's the perfect way to put it.
In fact, they refused to do it at all this past voting year. It didn't matter what you put up there, they said no.
But it just so for me, you expect to fight. But what's really unfortunate, Jane and PSL, is that when people who maybe aren't familiar with the facts, don't know the process, haven't been here for the decade plus, or are just trying to stir the pot, they suggest that, we could just move the route. Like that wouldn't cost millions of dollars, decades, and be subject to its own lawsuits. Because remember, we had to take a lot of properties to get the right of way to build this bridge. And let's just pretend you avoided one the lawsuit from the Conservation Alliance. But what about then you had to take another 50, 75 houses? What about if they fought the eminent domain process and said, well, you don't need to take my house. You already got another route permitted. It's pretty clear to us. Can you imagine? So the people that just throw that out there like, oh, sure. Like, I don't know, a columnist or people who ran for office and didn't get elected. Those type of people, they just throw it out there. Unfortunately, they don't know what they don't know. But thank you for the question, because we are right there. And as I said at the State of the City, this is a referendum on our character. You can't be the championship winning community we're going to be and not get your project done after 40 years. We're going to make it happen.
I think people don't really understand the importance of the project for us as a community and what it will do for all of our quality of life either. But you know as well as I do, I don't care what you're putting up and where you're putting it, there will always be some opposition that are willing to go to the mat with it. So that's always to be expected, I think.
It is, but only in America could someone challenge that South Florida Water Management District permit for something that 89% of the people voted for and cost the government $500,000 plus in hard costs and who knows how much in soft costs and time. So thinking of Don King, he's got a little bit different hairstyle than me. Only in America.
It's just slightly different. Maybe if you changed your part, it would be. I want to talk about what this bridge will do for us is also help in economic development, especially over to our east side. And so I thought that we'd take this moment to talk about what's going on economically and some of the projects that are coming in and that are finished. If you want to give us kind of just a quick recap of some of those.
Well, okay, you're making me tap into the state of the city. I don't know if there's any more questions out there, but
we'll just kind of give them the highlights.
We'll just pretend we're showing the slide. And I had a slide in the EDC, the Economic Development Council. There is a group of people dedicated to economic development across our whole county. Most of the people in this room probably know, but for those at home, St. Lucie Economic Development Council. We've partnered on facilitating the creation of 1,000 jobs this year, and we're pretty tough on ourselves with the failures, the economic development failures that occurred in partnership with the state kind of at the end of the boom and in the beginning of the bust. But if we're going to be hard on ourselves, then we also have to remind ourselves of our successes. So this last year, the city sold the 10400 building, what we call the Liberty Medical Building on US 1, for a $1.4 million profit. So we bought that and then we sold it to a developer who's leasing to Teleperformance. And that customer service call center organization was able to move from St. Lucie West and grow by hundreds of jobs by moving into that space.
And then we got somebody in their space.
Correct. Then iVox backfilled the Teleperformance space, and iVox relocated from Martin County, and they're increasing by hundreds of jobs. And then remember when we kind of took it on the chin, QVC said they were going to leave, they're consolidating because of their business model is changing with online. Well, that was filled by McKesson and their back house operations. So you just see a chain of wins there in that sector. And then this is the year that we saw Expert Shutters cut their ribbon. And Expert Shutters is one of the top 3 shutter manufacturers on the east coast of Florida. Excuse me, on the whole, entire east coast of the United States, and we have them here, obviously, in Port St. Lucie, Florida. But they started in a garage in PSL, and working with the EDC, the county, and the city, they were able to go from groundbreaking to ribbon cutting in 10 months. And that was a $2.1 million warehouse manufacturing center, and they're increasing by 10 plus jobs. So you don't always have to, there's a way to win besides hitting grand slams. In fact, rather than always swinging for the fences, you put it in play, you get singles and doubles, and you work your way into being a championship team. And that's really my hope for PSL and how we approach it in St. Lucie County. But that's a win. And then there's just these hidden gems, as you know, Trissa. Ross Mixing is in the Village Green Shopping Village. Sorry, I wanted to go Village Green Shopping Center. Village Green Industrial Area. And they are actually one of the premier mixing manufacturers of mixers in the world. And I'm not just talking about like your KitchenAid sitting on, I don't know if you have a red one or a pink one or what you got going on there. I know they're big, but they do much bigger ones. Like if you're a pharmaceutical and you got to make sure all your, all those drugs are mixed equally. Or how about gold medal flour or, industrial size mixers. They build those and they do a heck of a job, and they're working on, I believe, their 6th expansion. Could be the 5th, but they're working on their 6th expansion, and we're really proud of them. So those are some of the around towns, but there's really, in addition to how St. Lucie Medical Center continues to grow.
Yes.
I'm going to be sensitive here, but the Tradition Center for Innovation. There's a hospital out there also. I'll bring up those stats a different time, but you're talking 600 jobs at 45,000 plus just from that hospital, and then you have associated office space. You got the Kaiser University going in.
HCA did a new emergency center out west last year at Darwin Square. They're doing a huge expansion off of Tiffany, and so there's a lot going on. I see you brought more. Is that, did you?
No, that's not mine.
Oh,
I could read it for you, but.
Well, why not? I might as well pass it over. Jersey Mike's is new in Tradition, and I don't know if maybe my staff put it up here to remind everybody that we're going to give you a free sub today before you leave. That we're going to wait on. We're going to do that later. But happy to have, we're getting a lot of well, these are franchise, the Jersey Mike's, but we're getting like the Tijuana Flats and the Cheddars, and we're getting a lot more retail, which is always a direct effect from your economic growth. So we're happy to see that. It's not economic development, but it is a result.
Retail development is what I call it. In fact, had some interesting conversations on Facebook this week, and someone had made a comment of, oh, well, we used to be after job creation, now we're happy about a fast food restaurant. I said, hey, slow your roll. No. Because we should never confuse job creation, economic development with retail development. But given that PSL has been historically under-retailed, because the Jensen Beach trade area always took advantage of our population, but it developed there.
Right.
We have not had as much retail, commercial, office, industrial space as comparable communities. We've been a bedroom community. Well, that's changing. And how many of you were here who was here before the boom?
Oh my goodness.
Who was here for the boom? And obviously you're here after. So take our word for it when we say, being out of the Depression is so great. Now, yeah, right? Now is so much better
than before.
Than before. And if you drive the city, regardless if it's office or residential or restaurant, even fast casual restaurant, it's so great to see the development in the city. If you're at the corner of Crosstown Parkway and Village, and you're looking at 9-story buildings, and Wawa has a cult following. I mean, it's just amazing. If you stand at that intersection, go to one of Jane's events. I mean, it's fantastic out there. And with announcements like Hopcat, it's only getting better. But it's funny what moves the needle. So if I talk about an in-depth policy issue on Facebook, maybe 500 people.
I know.
I put on the Chick-fil-A. It's coming to St. Lucie West.
Well, people have to.
10,000 people.
I know.
10,000 people in 24 hours. Come on.
They have to have their priorities. You know
they
that.
do. And let's see, Zaxby's got 8,000, and Popeye's got 5,000. But I mean, they're all coming to PSL, and people get excited about their brands. And retail development is different than economic development.
It absolutely
is. But people are really excited. And you should let them be excited about it.
And I think you should too. And it does
Culver's,
show
Zaxby's,
signs.
Chick-fil-A, Popeyes.
Yes.
2 Starbucks.
Wow. So we're big time.
We're going to keep you caffeinated, We're not going to let you.
No, I get that. But you're brave, though, to have conversations on Facebook. I stay away from it. People can't see my hand gestures or my sarcasm. And so I worry they're going to take it wrong.
Well, to be a leader, you got to go to where the people are. And 1 out of 5 minutes amongst adults, mobile minutes, is spent on Facebook.
Really?
So that's how big of a forum is. And you just saw a recent newspaper article, perhaps, if you read the paper, about are we breaking the law on Facebook with public records and everything else. And so it is an evolving area. But how could I miss the opportunity to reach out to 10,000 people in 24 hours? What other forum would provide that ability? And it's my job to listen to you and then to speak with you about the issues that matter. And once upon a time, so I was just a place that I graduated in 92 from high school. I graduated from University of Miami in 96. So as I came into government in 96, that's when email and Word and everything was really blowing up. There was a time when people didn't email.
No.
Because they didn't know how to save
and no
email
cell
record.
phones. You could only have an AOL account. That was like all that existed.
So we're in the evolution, and what I would say is it can be frustrating because you get the internet trolls out there.
Yes.
And people will say things that they would never say to your face.
It's really easy to be brave anonymously, isn't it? But not to your face. I remember when we didn't have cell phones. My first cell phone was like
a brick?
It was like a telephone booth. You had to climb in it and crank the antenna up, and they were. I remember those days, but it has made it easy for people to stay connected, but it's also made it easy for people to weigh in on things, and everybody's got an opinion.
They do?
Yeah, apparently. I think they do anyway. Well, they give it to me.
They definitely do.
Very good.
Any other questions before we end the show?
Well, Angela's question is bringing up a subject that has plagued many cities across the United States of recent, and that is the heroin problem that we see everywhere. And she wanted to know specifically what the city might be doing to tackle that issue.
Well, we hit it on a number of levels, and at the city level, we're not in as many social sectors as the county. That's if you look at the separation of government. So we don't do as much on the social side as the county does. But through PD, we have the police department, we have the enforcement actions, and obviously we are the safest large city in Florida, and that's something that we protect and we try to maintain and enhance. So on the enforcement side, we're there. I'll say that St. Lucie County Fire District covers the whole county. So as far as responding to overdose incidents, they're on it, and they have the ability to dispense Narcan, which is new, which is a life-saving drug. And let me just take a step back and say that to echo Trish's comments, that this is a national epidemic. And if, in fact, I go to conventions, U.S. Conference of Mayors, National League of Cities, and everyone is working on this problem. And if a city thinks it doesn't have the problem, it just doesn't know yet.
Yeah.
So it's out there and it's silent. So through PD, we have a number of referral services where we try to get people help. I will say that on the downside, we're still figuring it out. There are a number of sober homes in the city, and that we have to find that right balance because there are so many of them, and there are some questionable operators out there that they're actually negatively impacting. Let me say that, and this goes back to leadership, government can't give everything to everyone, and I'm a strong believer that it shouldn't. And that my promise to you is that if you work hard and do the right thing, then I'm gonna do whatever I can for you. And I think that's what we should enable people to succeed, but we should not entitle them. So let's have a deeper conversation about your concerns.
And just, from the chamber standpoint, a healthy economy includes all scale of wages. That's how people cut their teeth. For a long time, our young people were unable to get jobs because unemployment was so high, and they weren't learning some basic life skills, responsibility, time management, and these jobs are great places for them to get a start.
And quite frankly, the older workers, people are working until
longer. Yeah.
Exactly right, and that's been pushing the young people out.
It has been, which is we can't even open up that can of worms. We will be here all day. All right, so we probably should actually move on. We're gonna head out to honor our community Impact Award winner. Did a blank face. It's been a few months. Community Impact Award. We do that here every month with the Children's Services Council, and it allows the public to see some behind-the-scenes workers doing great things in our community every day, and we don't really have another place for them to receive an honor like this.
Unsung heroes.
Yeah, so we get to do it here. So we're going to do that. If nobody else has any questions, I do want to mention Silver Platter Entrees for bringing in the coffee and pastry. As always, they will continue to do that this year. And we will be right back with Mr. Sean Boyle, the Executive Director of the Children's Services Council.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Welcome back to Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Mayor. I'm Teresa Aronson, President and CEO of the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. We do this event every second Friday of the month at the council chambers here at City Hall. It starts at 8:30. It's free. It's open to the public. And we also provide coffee and Danish courtesy of Silver Platter Entrees. This is one of my favorite segments of the show. This is when we visit with Sean Boyle, the Executive Director of the Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. And we honor our Community Impact winner every month. month we do this, right?
Absolutely. Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year to you. Thank you, Sean, for coming. And you have a special treat for us. We have somebody from one of our organizations that we're going to be recognizing.
Yep.
And she brought one of the participants in her program to share something with us, correct?
Exactly. So we do the Community Impact Award. We try to recognize those individuals that are working in the community, having an impact every single day on the children and families in St. Lucie County.
Yep.
And hence, by doing all that positive work, it obviously impacts the safety and the well-being and the educational level of our community. So this month, we're going to be awarding somebody who worked at the Pace Center for Girls.
Love it.
She's a graduate of Indian River State College.
Very
She's
nice.
brought all that creativity that she learned at the college, including student government, and she actually organized a choir that performed at our Sounds of the Season concert.
And I heard great things, so I asked Ashley if you could bring somebody with you. I heard wonderful things.
So this month's award winner is Ashley Gilbert, the counselor from Pace Center for Girls.
Well, congratulations, Ashley. I'm going to turn this mic on and have it to you. And we're just going to tell our audience real quick, what is the Pace Center for Girls?
So PACE is a program in St. Lucie County, and we provide gender-responsive services to girls and young women ages 11 to 18. Most of the girls come to our program for under academic achievement, and a lot of girls pretty much have some stuff they have to work out so that they limit their behavior concerns. So we have a lot of students that are survivors of a lot of traumatic abuse that they experience in their lives. And we just kind of give them the space to have girl time, just be themselves, and we create the space for them to just heal from a lot of that stuff that they have to heal from.
Thank you for that. It's a wonderful service, and it does provide a safe place for some girls to work out some of the things that are getting them down. Mm-hmm. And you brought somebody with us today, and she's going to perform for us, correct?
Not so much.
Well, in fairness, we didn't. Now she performed. She was on stage at the Sunrise.
Okay, yes.
Now backstage in the hallways before we went on, she's like, I don't know if I want to get on. I'm a little nervous. I'm like, you performed in front of 1,000 people at the Sunrise. Now, but we didn't tell her she had to perform. We just said that she was going to come. So I don't know if I say that to let her off the hook because I don't know if she's prepared anything to perform.
No. Okay.
But she's not shy.
No, she already asked the mayor a question this morning, and we appreciate that. But this is Cheyenne from the Pace Center, correct?
Yes.
Very nice. Say hi, Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Cheyenne.
So Cheyenne is actually, she already mentioned that she's the secretary at the student government that actually established that Pace Center for Girls.
Well, very good. Thank you to both of you for being with us. And Ashley, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. A long supporter of Pace Center for Girls, and we're very, very fortunate to have your organization in our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Sean, thank you as always, for bringing this in.
I thought we were going to talk about tired of being pregnant.
No, I'm not going to let you because I know your wife, and I'm pretty sure she doesn't want you to share this story.
But I'm going to go back today when I get off work. I'm going to tell her you had this syndrome called tired of being pregnant.
Because
she was definitely tired of being pregnant. Right.
Illness.
Right.
But she didn't actually. She just kept going back saying it's time, right?
It's time, right?
We're
done. Three times.
Very good. I know. Apparently, it was TB.
Tired of being pregnant.
TOBP, which probably a disability.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for that, and thank you to our audience for sticking with us. I know we only ran about 5 minutes late today. That's not too bad. But thank you to all of you for being with us. Thanks to the mayor as usual, and of course the staff here. The communications department is fantastic here at the city, and Landy Tiffany is still with us from the HCA family, and we appreciate her sponsorship throughout the year. Thanks again, everybody, and have a great day. We'll see you next month right here, City Chambers at City Hall, second Friday of the month, 8:30.